England play Bosnia and Herzegovina in a Euro 2024 warm-up tonight. There are a few selection headaches facing Gareth Southgate, though.
He'll be without Harry Kane, who missed the end of the Bundesliga season with a back injury. There are plenty of other injury concerns to worry about as well, with Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Anthony Gordon, Bukayo Saka and John Stones all ruled out.
For more on this, we can speak to the former England striker Dean Ashton. Good morning, Dean. Thanks for being with us. Are you expecting Southgate to experiment tonight with the players that he actually does have available to him?
Good morning. Yeah, I think so. It probably feels more serious than an experiment because these players might very much be needed, both in the side and in the squad. And those fringe players that maybe have been uncapped as well, it will probably feel like an unbelievable opportunity for them if they get the minutes to shine and try and get in a squad they maybe never even thought was possible a month or two ago. And it's clearly an issue for Gareth, but tonight and the game against Iceland is perfect preparation for the other players that may well be needed, and for him to look at where they would fit into his side.
Morning, Dean. We mentioned there a number of players out at the moment. Some of these injuries might not be that serious, but how concerning is it that we've got this sort of disrupted build-up heading into the tournament?
It's not ideal, and I'm sure Gareth would love to have played his strongest side near enough in both of the games to get a little bit of rhythm, hopefully, before the tournament. But there's enough experience in there as well. And ultimately, we're at the end of a season. The only one, obviously, Luke Shaw, who hasn't played much football at all, I think is clearly a big worry. But the other players that will have still played quite a lot of football coming into the tournament and just need to make sure that they're rested and recovered, ready for the start of the European Championships, I don't think is as big an issue. But it's not ideal, that's for sure. And actually, I think it means that it's going to give Gareth a real headache in terms of who actually starts in the opening game and can those players get through the tournament as he so wishes. But there's still time, and I'm sure he seems pretty calm actually about quite a few of the injuries. So let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, 2 warm-up games gives Gareth Southgate the chance to perhaps have a look at the uncapped players in the squad. Adam Wharton, Curtis Jones, Jarrad Branthwaite, Jarell Quansah and James Trafford. Do you see any of those making the final squad?
I think other than James Trafford, I think the others have got a great opportunity to make a claim to be in the squad because of the positions that they play. Is a place in defence and in midfield where I think we're slightly light because of injuries and form and certain players not being picked for this tournament. I think it gives them a real chance. The issue is obviously that you're just never sure. It's such a different environment playing for England than it is your club side. It's that pressure that comes with wearing that shirt and knowing the nation is watching. And until you actually get out there and do it, we're not quite sure how players will handle it. So I'm really hoping they all get a chance to get some minutes and show that they can handle it. And I think some of those players, especially Branthwaite for me, could be really, really vital.
Well, the tournament is, less than 2 weeks away now, England playing Serbia. We asked you, Dean, if you could provide us with your starting 11 for that game. And I've got to be honest, I think it's a little bit interesting. It's a little bit left field. Can you talk us through who you would start against Serbia?
Of course, yeah. I think with the issue at left back, with not knowing if Luke Shaw will be fit, and even if he is ready anyway, I think if that's your weakest spot, then you put your best defender there, which is why I would shuffle Walker across. Then gives you a great opportunity to play Alexander-Arnold on the right, who can tuck in and play alongside Rice at times when we have the ball. I would play Branthwaite. I think having a player that's had the second most assists with his club side, with the goalkeeper behind him and being left-sided would work perfectly. And I've been so impressed with him. I suppose the biggest one for me is Palmer. Saka's an unbelievable player. Of course he is. But I just can't see a world where you can't start. I just think he's such an unbelievably special player. I've heard Trippier talk about it already, how surprised he was at how incredible he's been in training. He's had an unbelievable season. That link-up he could have with Foden, I think, could be excellent. I think Bellingham can drop a little deeper if he needs to. And Gordon, I think, has played so well and gives you a little bit of everything. That energy that he can show to get forwards, to get back and defend. I think the big one is Palmer. I've got such a strong feeling about what an unbelievable player he is, and I'd love to see him start in an England shirt in the Euros. I think he could be, especially against teams that will sit and defend against us. I think he's got all the tools to unlock those defences.
It's certainly an attacking lineup, Dean. You've got two attacking fullbacks there. You've got goals all across the midfield and obviously Kane up front. Is that the way that you think England need to go at it, with one or two doubts about the defence? Need to score goals and let everything else worry about itself?
I think so. I think Rice has shown he's more than capable of playing that role on his own, especially against teams that maybe aren't going to be looking to press high against us, and we're going to have lots of possession. And with the way that players are able to rotate now, Kyle Walker could sit in a little deeper, and Trent Alexander-Arnold could come and help Rice, and Bellingham could drop slightly if he needs to. And the way those players are so intelligent to rotate, I just think we're going to need players that can create from a position of a defensive block and be able to get through that. And of course, people will say, well, Saka's got to start his pace on the right. But personally, for me, I just think Palmer edges it in terms of the type of player I would want in those situations.
I'm just thinking, is there any way that we could fit Saka and Palmer in the 11?
Yeah, you could. You could put Saka on the right, or even Palmer on the right and drop Gordon. But I just think Gordon would give you a different balance. And I've been so impressed with him every time I've seen him, especially live. The energy shown, the confidence on that left side, especially if you've maybe not got an out-and-out left back, then Gordon could at least give you some defensive cover on that side with the energy that he's shown. Not that Walker needs much help, of course, with his talents. But that's how I saw the team myself. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Gareth won't listen to anything I say.
He's watching now, Dean. He might be. You never know.
He might be. So you've got a right back in at left back, and the backup to that would be Kieran Trippier, who's another right back who could do left back. Now, Luke Shaw is an injury doubt. Would you still gamble on taking him, even if he's not fully fit?
Really difficult to call if I've not really seen enough of how he is and the update on his injury. I don't think so personally. I just don't. I don't think you can miss the amount of football he has and come in and be ready. And we've seen it so often in the past where we've gambled on players' fitness coming into a tournament, and I can't think of once when it's worked. I just don't think it's. And also you've got players there that are good enough that can fill in. Okay, it slightly unbalances things, but ultimately we're talking about some fantastic players in maybe Walker, Trippier, or Trent Alexander-Arnold that I think can do a role in that position.
England have been building steadily, haven't they, over the last few World Tournaments? Got as close as you can get, really, getting to a final in the Euros. Is there more pressure on England than ever before going into this tournament? And also, do you think Southgate's future is dependent on what happens at the tournament?
Probably both of them, yes. I think the pressure's huge. And ultimately, I think to get to this point and having not got over the line yet, he'll be so disappointed, as we all are, because we felt as if we've had those opportunities, and this will be another one because of the talent that he's got at his disposal. And I think it's so interesting as well that the back four and goalkeeper that could start the first game in the Euros is exactly the same as the one that started in the World Cup when he first took over, Gareth. So you've got that continuity of a defence as such, experienced players that have been right the way through with him, and it feels like we're at a point now where it's just that final step, and it's getting those tiny little details right in the biggest of moments, which is so difficult. And Gareth will be judged on that, and I think he certainly knows it.